Morning everybody, how we all doing? Hi Alicia. Yes Fred, there's movement in the camp. I'm still trying to remove glue from last week. More job. Hello Lee, you alright mate? Joe's disappeared. He was here a minute ago, now he's run off. Morning Miss T. Morning Derek. Morning Andy. Morning Clive. Morning Martin. Morning to anybody I've missed. I've just had to chase around, do my morning exercise. Last job, clean the tool rest. And a bit of sandpaper.
Last job's to clean underneath your lathe, you messy man.
quick bit of lathe maintenance that you can't see. I'm just wiping down the lathe bed. Needless to say, I haven't been here since last week, and everything's still a little bit sticky. My intention was to finish last week's piece and show you the finished article. You'll have to come back next week for that. I had gardening and housework duties. Right. Okay, we're live, are we?
No.
Let's get there.
Of course they're live. You've been chatting with them. You are live. Don't wait for yourself.
Right. Morning, everybody. Firstly, I'd like to thank you all for the support for the NHS. Between us, we raised £1,400. So, well done, everybody. That was a good call. Well done. Thank you. What we're going to do today is we're going to mess around with some colour, a splash of colour. I mess around with art in woodwork, so we don't create a bowl, we don't create a hollow form, a vase or anything. We're just using a disc of wood as our bit of canvas. So in the past, I created this. It's got a burnt textured rim. We won't be doing that, it takes too long. But this was done with P-blow paints. And they fragment when you put them onto the wood, so you can get different effects. I don't know how clear that is with the camera, but that was one idea. Another idea that I used is this. And now that's been textured with a texturing tool, coloured added, and the idea is just a wall hanging using colour. So we're going to have a play with using a splash of colour today on a disc. Just had to put them back down there. So we're going to use a 12-inch sycamore blank. I've pre-drilled the back with a 50mm hole so I can slot it straight onto the jaws. I'll get Joe to adjust the camera round. And then we will be away. So I'm just tapping the wood onto the jaws.
Close up of your face.
Yeah. Now this bit of wood's got a few cracks and stuff in it. It's one of the blanks that I cut that weren't so good, so I turn the not so good wood normally. Get that onto there. I think the crack will be alright. One of the things we do when we're wood turning, we listen as well as turn. So if I think that's opening up too much and going to cause us a real problem, then we'll abandon that bit of wood and I'll get a fresh bit of wood, but I think it'll be alright. Obviously, I've brought the tool rest up and I'm just turning that by hand to make sure that she spins freely. And I shall bring up the towel stock, which marks our true centre, but also gives us a bit of added security because we're now trapped between centres and mounted on a chuck, so we should be fairly safe. Done on my safety specs. Lathe speed is down. We got one technical issue. I forgot to turn the lathe on. You just flick that switch down there, Joe. So, Joe's just supplying power to the lathe.
Using a push bike.
Now we've got power to the lathe, so I should turn the lathe on. I'm standing at the line of fire, and we just turn the speed up a little bit. And first job is just to bring it around. So, with my gouge back to my body, I'm just going to raise my handle and slide along the face of this plank to bring it to round. Couple of passes will do it. There we go. We're just screwing the blank up. We're going to thin it down a little bit in a minute. I'm just waiting for a nice even cut. And still not quite there. We'll get a little bit more speed into it. We're just moving the tool to match the speed of travel of the wood coming over the cutting edge. There. Now we'll just have a look at that crack. It's a bit deeper than I thought for. Yeah, we'll carry on with it. It goes into the wood about 1.5 inches that way, but unfortunately it comes right the way down the bowl blank here. So I'll glue that up, I think, in a minute. I'm moving the tool rest round so we can face the blank off, because this is going to be the back of our piece. So now I'm just coming in and just pulling the tool rest. Yeah, we'll need a bit of CA. Oh yeah, I'll use CA on this. It's not a big opening, it's just a small crack. So all I'm doing now is just pulling the tool back towards me to face the blank off. Thin, please. And I'll just keep going at this, just light cuts. There, so that's faced off. So I'm now gonna just adjust the tool rest slightly, and with this cut I'm gonna rub the back of the bevel, push the handle towards the lathe and go into the centre, and as I go in I'm just gonna lift the handle so it keeps a nice straight parallel cut. Just drop the tool rest a little bit so I come through on the centre. So back of the bevel, handle towards the lathe a little, get the cut, and as we proceed forward, just raise the handle. I just missed that there, let's go again, that's it. I don't want to take too much, but on the other hand I've got to take enough to give us a nice smooth back. Raise the handle as I go into the centre, just cutting on the underside of the tip of the tool. Right the way into the centre, so we'll have a look at that. It needs another pass. I'll try to turn the speed up and it decided to bounce all over the place. There, that's our speed there. This is just a fine cut to cut down on the sanding. into there, something like that. Red stop. Yeah, that'll do us. Well, it's not a happy piece of wood, this. It's got a bit of torn grain here, so I'm just gonna rough cut it back towards me. I'm just going backwards and forwards with the gouge. See what that's done. That's better, it's got rid of the torn grain. So we're going to mount this with a socket in the back. The reason I use a socket in the back is that's a hanging point. If you've got a screw in the wall, you can just hang on the back of the socket. So we're going to mark out our spigot, and this week I'm going to remember I'm using a external fitting, and that's 50mm on these jaws, so I'll allow it to be about 54. And then with the vernier, left hand point scribing, line the line up with the right hand point, and that should be our size. I'm going to double check that because I didn't do the old average last week of measure twice, cut once. I had to land up cutting it 3 times. So that'll be our socket in the back. So now I will remove the tail stock. We could go with 2 cameras, I think. Just don't. Remove the tail stock out of the way and get rid of the elbow stabber. There. That's out of the way. I'm having to move the bits and pieces around to get out of the way of the camera lines. Now I'm just going to take out that middle and create our socket. So I'm just using the bolt gouge to knock that centre nib out of our way. There. And now I'm going to use my little skew, which is hiding here somewhere. This is just a little inch skew. I'll raise that tool rest a little, so I use it like a negative rate scraper. There. And I'm just going to come in with the tip of the skew on my line. Be somewhere around there. And now we just remove some of this wood to generate our socket. Now I've raised that tool rest a tad too high. There we go. That's better. Now I want this to be about 5mm deep, 6mm deep, something like that. So just push in with this skew, shave away. That's me depth. So I'll just remove this bit here. Just flattening off the inside and making sure I've got a little taper on the inside, something like that there. Now as Joe whips the extractor on, we'll just sand off this back. Now I'm going to start with 20 grit, move on to 40 grit, The reason I'm doing that is I haven't got house brick. No, not really. Just starting with an 80 grit to flatten that back off. Slush gate ain't open. Joe's trying to kill me. Keeping the Simon Oak nursery reel sander nice and flat. I've used a nice big head. Let's check that out. Yeah, that's nice. Now, obviously, I'm going to go through the grits on this, and then I've got to get into the middle, so I'll use a bit of hand sandpaper for the middle. So the next grits are quite quick. We started at 80, that's 120, on to 180. 240, and then 320 will do us. Now, what we can do, obviously, this is going to be the back of our piece, but we could decorate it. So let's put in a couple of beads. We just use a beading tool here. I'm just going to come in, rocking the tool backwards and forwards as I lift the handle. We put another one in next to it there. Tips touch, lift the handle. I rock this backwards and forwards, or in towards the lathe and back again. There, and then we'll just put a couple in near the centre. Another one there. There. So now we've got 4 beads in. I'll remove the tool rest again, grab a bit of hand sandpaper. And we're just going to go in with a supporting my right wrist with my left hand. Just come in here, do the inside there, and then just do the beads by folding the paper over and angling it so I catch the top of the bead. There. That was 120, 180. $2.40. And then $3.20 last of all. There. Get rid of the sandpaper, And now we're going to finish the back off, polish it up. So we're going to use a bit of Yorkshire grit and Hampshire sheen. Just get the dust off of there. And I'm just going to apply a quick bit. Ooh. Now that's not so hot. There's got a little tear out on a bead, but I'm just applying the Yorkshire grit, bit of paper towel by hand, spin this around, work it in. And now we'll just work that in by spinning the lathe. Turn the towel. And we just want to work it until the grit stops coming off of the wood onto the towel. And that's it all worked in. There. The next job, little bit of wax. Screwdriver. As I said before, I leave a piece of cloth permanently in the Hampshire sheen I glossed in. This will look nothing like where camera is that you know as Hampshire sheen eye gloss. This was an original tin, so it's got to be, I don't know, 3-4 years old, but it's still going strong. So I'm just going to put a thin layer of wax on. You're far better off when you're applying finishes to apply a little, buff it and give it a second coat than try and get it all on in one coat. That's it, that's a bit of wax applied. Now we'll just buff that up. Run out of places to put things. So, lathe on, buff this up. There. Bit of rubbish on there.
It's nice to see that the retro tins are still in use.
So, that's the back of our piece. I'll hold it down there so you can see it. And it's just got a couple of beads for decoration. It's polished up. It's got a nice shimmer to it. Yeah, you can turn the extractor off, that'll be cool. And now we're going to mount this way round. Oh, no, not that way round, idiot. Let's put the back in the chuck. I went and mounted it the wrong way round.
Glenn Senior said, did you use Yorkshire grit?
Yes, I used Yorkshire grit, Glenn. Was you not here?
You tuned in just after you used it.
So, that's on. So I'll just turn the speed down, turn it on. Yeah, we're running cool. So now we're going to deal with this little crack. We've got a bit of thin CA. And we're just going to squirt that into the crack. Let that sink in there. It's on the end grain, so the glue will sink in quite well. Let that in there. Use a bit of accelerator on it because I don't want to be covered in glue again. there, and I might just give that a second coat and take the blank off the lathe and get a bit in the front. So I'll give that second coat there. Let's soak into there. Now I'll take this blank back off the lathe for a second and put a bit in its face. Just there. This is our crack just here, so let's get a bit of glue in there. And use the accelerator to set that off. Make sure that it's properly set off. Sometimes you get a little hard skin over a blob. By the time we finish, you shouldn't be able to see this crack at all. Shouldn't. This, of course, it decides to manifest into a proper crack, a big split. Turn that speed down, turn her on. Yeah, we're okay. Right, so now we'll start on the face. I'm hoping I'm going to turn away a chunk of this crack, so we'll see what happens. We'll slowly increase the speed. And now we just come in and flatten off the front of this plank. I'm pushing the gouge into the centre while raising my handle. It's a little bit bouncy because it wasn't flat. You can see we're not turning very fast, we're only spinning at about 750. All that means is you travel the tool slower. Just forcing the cut a little bit here, just to get this wood out of the way. I was keeping my mouth shut there, the shavings were flying straight into my face. There we go. I'll just move that tool rest a bit closer and I'm just going to double check this crack. Yeah, that's not too bad. It seems to be more on the surface there, so we're all right. So now I'm just going to make a fine pass into the middle. Like so. I'm just going to stop about there. I'm going to build a boss up. I could see something out the corner of my eye and a bit of the glue had gone hard and floated up, so I just wanted to double check there was nothing untoward. going to come in a little way and start my cut. I think we got a bit of piff in the middle there, or something, yeah, just in there. I built a boss up in the middle, and now I'm going to come back across the lathe, rub the back of the bevel, bring my handle towards me, and just feed the bowl gouge out to the rim. There, and I just want to take a bit of that down there, so just use the tip of the tool out there. And just lining the gouge across the surface now, very lightly. I've got a couple of little ring marks I want to get rid of. Into there. There we go. Something like that will do us. So, if you're going to use colour, you've got to make sure your surfaces are free from marks, otherwise the marks will show through. So back to a bit of sanding. Joe's going to turn the extractor on. I've got a bowl gouge right in my way, stopping me tool rest from moving back. Got rid of that. Now we just come in again with an 80 grit in the middle. If I wanted to texture it, I could use a house brick. That'd look quite smart. Just got a little bit of a mark there in the middle. Let's get that into there. Yeah, that's got that bit. Now we just whip through the grits quite quickly. That's our 120. $180. 240, any advance on 240, 320. And that should be a sanded. Smart. So, tack cloth. Get rid of the dust. Hold on. New glass jar. Tack cloth. The glass jar with me tack cloth in was right behind me. I thought I'd put it somewhere else. Normal stuff. I'm just removing the dust because I don't want the dust showing through on the paint. There. Now what I'm going to do is remove the piece in the chuck from the lathe. You can knock that extractor on your Joe. Now, let me see spanners from this. You see a C spanner? Ah, there it is. I had a quick tidy up this morning. Lucky you can't see the whole workshop. They're doing a thing on Facebook at the moment, workshop tours, and they want volunteers. Well, this is one person that's not going to be volunteering, because if I showed you what the workshop looked like. Right, so we're going to go back to an overhead. We've got the overhead, you can see that. Alright, back to the overhead. Right, we're back on the overhead. So we've got a bit of waste wood as a rim. Let's find a bit of board. That's it. Bit of waste wood on the rim. Bit of waste wood in the middle for a boss. And then we've got this area that we've finished here. Now, what we're going to do, I'm using chestnut intrinsic colours today. I'm going to get this blue quick shake up. And then we'll put some blue on here. And a little foam brush to spread it out. Now if you want to add a bit of texture, you could use a sponge. What was that?
You had a tidy up, don't you? You're joking.
You're joking, aren't you, Joe? Tidy? My workshop is tidy compared to where he lives in the house. So get this blue on here. Doesn't matter if it comes over this rim. There we go. The tidying up is Mrs. Oliver's job, but she refuses to come into the workshop. I don't know why. A bit more blue on here. Nice bright colour, and get round into that rim. Don't matter if I overlap to the bits that we've not done, you'll see why in a minute. That's it. We'll give it another coat. No, Martin has not outsourced his colours to chestnut. But this is not a stain. This is a intrinsic paint. We're getting a solid colour on here. Now for a lot of wood turners, this is a no-no. Hiding the wood. You don't do that. Me, I think this will look quite smart. No expense spared. I'm just getting this a nice thick deep shade of blue. Brushing it around. That's it. These are just light strokes.
It's either chestnut or it's intrinsic, which is it?
Iridescent. What did I say?
Intrinsic.
Oh, no, not intrinsic. This is iridescent. Chestnut iridescent paint. It's nice solid colour. I get me iridescence mixed up with me.
You get all your words mixed up.
The other one, iridescent and intrinsic, all mixed up. There. Just got a little bit going on here. Let's get that. That's better. Now, typical fashion of a wood turner. We haven't got time to wait, so we'll use the air dryer trick to dry it off. I just apply a bit of heat to this to dry it off. Normal conditions, you can go and have a cup of tea and let it dry. It will take, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. But with the heat from the air dryer, we can see it drying like magic in front of our eyes. Ellen Bailey, I just read that. No, definitely not. It would take me a month to get ready. Huh? On the other hand, I suppose I could do it, show you what a proper workshop should look like. Right, so that looks dry there. So now we're going to have a little bit of fun. So this is a yellow. And trouble with doing this sort of work in your workshop when you're covered in shavings and dust and stuff, you're far better off before you start messing around with paints is have a clean area or have a tidy up. Next week's demo will be on how to tidy your workshop. I hope you got 2 days. So I think that's there. So we're going to put a dollop of yellow there. Just random. Dollop there. Dollop there. And we'll go with green. Joe could have made himself useful. He could have been shaking up the paint, couldn't he? I'm still wearing my safety glasses. I don't need them to put paint on, do I? It's booked now, sorry. Yeah, right. For that to be booked now solid, now it needs me to put a web camera on. Right, so now we're going to go in with some green. Oh, Don't want the dry stuff, just as wet blob. Yeah. What do we fancy next? Have a bit of purple. Great playing around with stuff like this. You can do whatever you like, and if it's rubbish, just turn it away and start again. Stick some red in here. Something there. Oh, there's a big dollop. Right, so now we're going to use an airline. Splash with colour. Last week the lathe was covered in glue. This week, paint. Go, and now we'll add a bit more in areas where we want to add it in. What should we have? A bit of yellow. Oh, I've missed a dollop. A bit of yellow over there. And a bit of green over there. Get that out. Blast in. Yeah. Perhaps I should have left my safety glasses on. Seem to be covered in paint again. Story of my life. Took me a week to get the last lot off. Got a bit of that in there. Something there. Yeah. One in there. Something like that. Now I'm well and truly covered in paint. The lathe's well and truly covered in paint. Everything, oh dear, the monitor is completely covered in paint. I've got a second monitor so I can see the chat. It's actually covered in paint. So, yeah, maybe not one of my brighter ideas. So now, air dry with a bit of heat. And we've just got to dry this off a bit. Got to dry it off a lot really, because if I turn it on I'll cover the whole place in paint and we won't get these splodges. You can get different effects with different thicknesses of paint, but this was just designed to be just a bright jolly colour in these dull days that we're living in. I could send Joe over to Nikki's mum's hairdryer. It's much more powerful than this one. Only trouble is she's indoors. We'd be in trouble then. Proper trouble. Wouldn't be the first time. I've got no real idea how long this is going to take to dry out. I'm just trying to form a skin over it so it don't move too much. And if I put a bit of oomph into it. Eh? Now realistically, obviously if you did this, you'd leave it till tomorrow morning or something. Huh? Would have done if I'd had time. Joe's just said to me, you should have had something pre-prepared.
Oh no, I didn't say pre-prepared, because that's how someone would say it, because I don't understand the word is prepared.
And I was planning I could have done this last night. Haha, Duncan, like watching paint dry. I could have done this last night, but we were too busy with a group of friends having a pub quiz. I'm not very good at the quiz part, but I was alright at the drinking. Right, I can see now that it's getting to the point where I think we can spin it. Give it another minute, talk amongst yourselves. This demonstration on is how to use a hairdryer. As you know, with my hairstyle, I'm an expert. Where's the fun in that? What's that? Eh? Clean? Look at that. That's why I'm trying to dry it out, Glenn. I can touch this bit round the edge, you see, because that's going to come away. And that shows me it's still a tad wet. And that blobs in the middle, look. Nearly there. What I should have done is turned the little bowl while this was drying and let Joe use the air dryer, shouldn't I? That would have spin another way. There's a blodge in there, I'll try and get dry. Right. Do you think everybody's suitably bored now? So we'll try it. It might spin out on us. I didn't want it to spin out, but it is what it is now. Huh? We're going to turn face on this way. Joe's adjusting the camera round. I just want to tighten the chuck on. Right, well, that'll be next time. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the tool rest up here. Actually, what I'm going to do is just rotate the headstock out a little bit. If I move a bit of rubbish. Yeah, that'd be better. There we go. I don't know. Joe's asked me why camera's not working. How do I know? They were working last week fine. Plugged them in this morning and one decides that it don't want to go. Although it was working during the week when I was messing around. Yeah, the paint's still wet, so we've got a bit of a spin out, which I didn't really want, but hey-oh. We're just... Drop my old glasses on. I'm tangled up with these things today. I don't know why. Cords round me wherever. So what I'm going to do now is just with the back of the gouge, hold on. Huddle. Now that's spun out a bit too much. I didn't want that. So with the back of the gouge, I'm just a spindle gouge. Just roll this edge over. And I'm just rubbing the back of the bevel, lifting my handle, rolling it anti-clockwise. It's going to be like a giant bead. Eh? Yeah, well, I can't not do that. I'm just rolling this over one way then the other, just to generate a giant sort of bead on the outside. Eh? Now I'm going to work on the centre, this boss. Eh? Yeah, you would normally let the paint dry, to be fair.
He also said he's going to cut this part out and make a 4-hour loop with like some views.
Just get me bowl gouge in there, I think. Drop that tool rest down a little bit. I'm just trying to, just going to create a boss. So I'm coming back out to centre. And while I'm coming out, I'm twisting my body round and lifting the handle. Back of the bevel, handle towards me, then just a little lift as we go. Twisting my body away from the lathe as I lift. There. And I think what's happened is the shaving's gonna stick to the paint because it was too wet. Just want to get rid of that little hole in the middle where we had the live centre. There. Now I should be able to pick that up. Just a little boss. The idea is you see the wood in the centre and the rim. Just pick a cut up here. Last one. Keep slipping off of it. I've got being pushed away on the bevel. I'm just trying to take a real fine cut to get a finish. Somewhere there. Now our paint, as you see, we've got a bit of shaving on there now because it was wet, but it could add to the effect. The last thing I was going to do with this is just put a finish onto the rim here. You know, definitely make sure your paint's dry before you start playing with this, unless you want the shavings as another effect, of course. It could be that, but that wasn't the plan. I'll hold my hands up.
Not even Bob Ross would call that a happy accident.
I was just doing a fine cut here on the edge. That's got rid of our glue. And then you can do something just to finish the edge of the piece. So get the tool rest back a bit here. And somewhere safe earlier, I'll put a texturing tool there. So I'm just going to texture the edge. Now I'm only spinning at about 500. You ought to see indoors, Pat. I was asked to decorate. I'm just going to come back the other way with this. just held the texturing cutter over at an angle, and I'm just scoring the outside edge here. Like so. And then what I want to do is just take the I'll put some sandpaper down somewhere. Oh, right there. Yes. 120. I just want to take the loose fibres off the edge. I'm still carrying on as if it's a masterpiece, even though my paint was wet. I've got shavings stuck to me paint. I've got shavings stuck to me. I've got paint stuck to me. My safety specs I can't see out of. They're covered in paint. Right, and then what we'll do is just add a bit of embellishing wax around the outside. Bit of electric blue on the outside. And that gets down into the texture. They're laughing at my creation in here. They don't realise I've got feelings too. I'm deeply hurt. I'm suffering. I'm bleeding deep inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said earlier.
We should have had a Blue Peter moment instead of drinking wine last night and doing a pub quiz. Mrs. Oliver's chipping in now. It's Pick on Head Day.
Oh,
Actually, it's been on Pick on Head lockdown, to be fair, if I'm honest. I've been made to do housework, gardening, on top of my normal duties. So just go buff this wax in. I've been baking.
Now we know he's lying. He's really got the sign.
Eh?
He looks behind you.
Oh. Oliver's Woodturning has changed colour.
Tell you what, stick the airline on that, that'll be a splash of colour.
Right, so here we go.
I wouldn't show it. Just show that side. Show,
Yeah,
the, other side. Show the back.
I wonder if I can get the shavings off of there.
Show the back.
Right, so if we move the...
Get an airline so you might be able to blow Shane's up.
Is that it? We're just going to try and... No, they're properly stuck.
Some of them came off. You can see some of them come off.
Joe come up with a bright idea of trying to blow the shavings off the paint. That didn't work.
Here's the big pressure one.
Where it's carried on spinning, the bead is now covered in paint again, but the camera's covered in paint, I'm covered in paint, me sign's covered in paint. If you let the paint dry, the shavings don't stick to it.
But you
I
don't
should
get
have
that
done.
lovely splat effect.
Should have had a Blue Peter moment with this. Really, my glasses are covered in paint. I'm covered in paint. But then with a an embellished wax rim, polished back, and a bit of colour, you've got yourself a wall hanging for a 3-year-old. I'm going to put it in my bedroom later. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed your morning. Thanks again for your support last week with the NHS. It was really appreciated. And thank you very much for your support with the shop. We've been flat out busy. And hopefully you can all go and play with some paint. There we go. What are the comments now? Which is the back now? This is the back now. Look. Clean. No paint. Today's job is mow the grass. Thanks, Leisha. That's the best video you've seen ever, Steve. I think you want to go out a bit more, mate. Thanks, Ellie. Ellen, you're flipping great. Yeah, you're still not going to get workshop tour. Cheers, Fred. Thanks, Pat. Best one ever. You need to get a life as well. Yeah, I think I never got Blue Peter badge, Leslie. No. Discount on paint overstocked. It's all over the ceiling. That's where it is. Better than watching a comedy show. Cheers, Jim. Cheers, Robin. Next week we'll do something sensible. I'll show you how to use a skew. Best morning I've had in weeks. Thanks. Cheers, Andy. Thanks, Martin. Cheers, Graham. Yeah, the workshop tour's already booked, is it? Okay. I'll do it with the lights off. That'll work. At midnight. Cheers, Derek. Glad it was a giggle. That was the idea of it. Let's just brighten up the week, eh? Cheers, Nick. Cheers, Phil. Cheers, Mark. Glad it made you smile. James, there was a bit of a problem with the paint. Yeah, it decided to fly off when it shouldn't have done. Thanks, Derek. Miss T, better than doing the housework. Go and tell my wife that. She wants me to do the housework. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to cut the grass with a bottle of beer. Cheers, Chris. Cheers, David. Clive. John. Glad you enjoyed it. Baz, well done. Thank you. Cheers, Mark. Cheered you up. That was the idea. Let's have a bit of fun. So, yeah. Thanks, Stedman. That was the idea. Right, people, I've got to go. The lawnmower is a calling and a cold bottle of beer. Have a good weekend. Have a good lockdown for the next week. I'll be back next Saturday, but maybe we'll do a bit of turning. Take care. Have fun.